Now, what has clouded the issue is that in the 15th and 16th century, and starting from the 15th century, when Christopher Columbus bumped into America, thinking he was going to India, lost, and discovered by the people in probably the Bahamas, who cooled him down and probably tried to give him something to drink. But he told them, I discovered you, I control you. And we foolishly have maintained this in our institutions for years. Even only recently, in 1992, it was the 500th centennial of the age of discovery. But my question was, at that point in time, who was discovered? Was it the people here or Columbus? It was Columbus. That's what they should actually have been saying. But what you have to deal with is the mentality, not Columbus himself, because Columbus was very late. And historians recognize now that many people made it across long before Columbus. That's another lecture in itself. But African people made it across, Muslims made it across, Vikings made it across, Phoenicians made it across. Many different nations were able to come across the Atlantic and the Pacific, on the other side too, and come into the Americas. The important point is the mentality. It is the mentality where you deny the civilization of the other people. Just imagine this now. We look at the picture and we see Columbus landing on the shore, and he's looking at people, and it says Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492. I tried this out, man. I went to Nigeria, Kenya, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Singapore, and I said to the people, who discovered America? They said Christopher Columbus. I said, when? They said 1492. I said, did you look at the picture? They said, oh, that's right. There's other people in the picture. So this mentality of exclusion, the mentality where people are living there, yet you don't recognize their humanity, that is the one that is the poison that destroyed the relationships, where racism became a tool of oppression and a tool of mental and physical exploitation. And we find that from the 15th and especially 16th century, that slavery became a racial phenomenon. When Europe found in Africa a source of cheap labor to bring into the Caribbean, South America, and North America to produce sugar and cotton and tobacco and the other products, they looked to Africa. They tried poor whites first, but that didn't work. Because they looked at themselves, they looked in the mirror, and at the master, they said, wait a minute, I look just like you. I'm not going to be a slave. They tried the native people, but the native people had been here for over 10,000 years. And so they refused to submit. They would either run away and fight, or they would just die. So they looked to Africa, because African people not only would be very visible, especially if you brought people out of West Africa or Central Africa, they would be very visible. Also, the climate in the Guinea Coast, the Gold Coast, Angola Coast is very similar to the climate in the South, here in the South, and also in the Caribbean and South America. Also, people had ways of dealing with agriculture, advanced ways of agriculture. So they figured all these things in and then targeted Africa. As we know, the slavery period began, and millions of people were brought out of Africa into the Americas. Slavery became racial. History also records that there were African people who lived in America at the time of the 13 states who had their own property. Some of them even had slaves. Some of the African people, I believe, were also part of the native culture, because they had come across with the Mandinka. And there's a book called Deeper Roots here. You can read Ivan van Sertima and other people, and you will find out about the discoveries before Columbus. So African people were already here, but slavery became racial. Code Noir, the black laws. When these laws came in, everybody of African descent became slave, whether you were free or slave. Regardless of your tribe, regardless of your status in society, once you fit a particular definition racially, you became a slave. This is how everything changed. And so that definition, that concept is with us today. This is what makes it extremely difficult to talk about this topic, because this is a very emotional topic, especially for people who have had ancestors who were in a state of slavery, including myself. This is a very emotional topic. But we have to be able to look at this topic in the proper perspective so that we ourselves would not fall into stereotyping or into wrongly accusing people of something that they did not commit.